All right, so today we have last lesson of this chapter. Okay, last lesson. It's going to go on page 9. So what are we covering? Well, we're covering kind of what we did last time. We did standard form last week, right? Last week, I think Wednesday, we did the last lesson. We did standard form. Let me get my standard form up here. Standard form, right? A, B, and C. We had A's, B's, and C's. We found things like axis of symmetry, y-intercepts, vertex, arrows up or arrows down, maximum minimums, right? All of our pictures look like arrows up like that, or arrows down like that, right? They all look like that, right? Today is going to look the same. Today, our pictures are going to look the same. How we get there is going to be a little different. There's 3 forms. There's 3 versions, right? It's kind of like you. You don't always dress the same no matter where you go, right? Right? You don't always dress the same. You dress differently. If I'm going to work, you dress one way. If I'm laying on the couch, I dress another way. If I'm going somewhere else, I dress another way, right? You're the same person, but there's there's versions of you, right? That's kind of like this today. They're all the same, but they're each a little different. Okay? All right. Okay, so today, first thing we're going to look for is vertex form. We'll do vertex form first, and then we'll do factor form next. Okay, so vertex form. It has a vertex. That's why it's called vertex form. It has an axis of symmetry, just like last week. Has a maximum and minimum. Has a y-intercept. But its rules are a little different. This is a little different than when you saw last week. Okay? So this is the rules we're going to use. All right. Okay, so let's look at, flip it over, let's look at number 1. Let's get into the problem to see the differences. Okay. So today I'm going to tell you which form it's in. Tomorrow, the rest of the week, on the test, I'm not going to tell you which form it's in. So you're going to have to know it's in vertex form. It's in factored form. No. It's in what we did last week, standard form. There's ways to tell. It's not hard, but you just got to be able to tell. Okay, so for this one, this was in vertex form. Okay, it matches this. So it has an A, an H, and a K. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out those. So just like we did last week, we got to figure out what A, H, and K are. Last week it wasn't A, H, and K. It was A, B, and C. Okay. So what is, for this guy, what's A? What's in the A position? Yeah, it's -3. -3. Okay. What's in the H position? 2, right? It looks like -2, doesn't it? It looks like -2, -2. But be careful. H is actually a liar. H doesn't tell the truth. So it's not -2 or -2. It's actually regular 2. Now, I'm not going to change that. Some people go, oh, change it. No. Leave it the way it was. Leave it the way it was. But we just know that H doesn't tell the truth. K does. K does, though. Whatever K is, that's what it is. -4, it's -4. Okay? But like I said, don't change this guy here. This guy stays. Because I had some students last period saying, oh, change that to +2. No. Leave it the way it was. Leave it the way it was. We just know. In the back of my head, I know. Like if someone's telling me a story, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. You know, that doesn't sound right. And I figure out, oh yeah, they were lying, right? I'm not the type of person to go tell them, you're a liar. No, I just, in the back of my head. So the next thing that person tells me, I'm going to be like, I don't know about that one. So just kind of put it in the back of your head, right? We don't want to call them out. We just want to file in the back of your head. Okay. All right, so let's go to axis of symmetry. Vertex form is usually the favorite. Students usually love vertex form the most, and I'll tell you why right now. You'll figure it out. So here we go. Axis of symmetry first. So let's go to our rules. For our rules, it says whatever h was, that's your axis of symmetry. Okay. H was positive 2. Done. That's my green line. That's my mirror line. Positive 2. That's what I'm going to do next. Okay. Just like last time, it's going to have all the same parts that the last one did. It's just going to be how we get there is a little different. Okay? It's going to have all the same parts that you did last week. Just how we get there is a little different. All right, so the next thing, vertex. Well, it says, if it's in vertex form, it says the vertex is h, comma k. Well, my h was 2, and my k is negative 4. Go make a dot. Right 2, down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that, we found the axis of symmetry in the vertex. If you, I know it was last week, but remember last week? I'll come back to it. But remember all of this work we had to do just to figure out what those two things were? We don't have to do that with vertex form. Vertex form is here's your answers. The only thing we have to do work to find is the y-intercept. Everything else is given to us. That's kind of nice. Okay. Okay, so the next thing, maximum and minimum. Maximum and minimum. Well, I don't know if it's arrows up or arrows down. Or do I? Does anyone know if it's arrows up or arrows down? We actually do, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. If you guys, does anyone know? Yeah. Arrows up. It's going to be arrows. Actually, no, it's going to be arrows down. Arrows down. Does anyone know why? Because what is negative?
Negative 4. I meant K.
Not K. You're close. 3. A. A is the guy that decides whether it's arrows up or arrows down. If A is positive, arrows up. If A is negative, arrows down every time. Okay? Okay. Let's pretend like we didn't know that. So let's go to y-intercept. Y-intercept always starts with a 0. Right? Just like last week. How do I figure out what the other guy is? Plug 0 in for x. There's an x right there. I'm going to plug 0 in there just like I did last week. We'll come back to it. Yeah, because we're not, we'll come back to a 3. We'll come back to 3 because I'm not sure if it's arrows up. It is arrows down, but if you're not sure, yeah. Some of you guys were like, yeah, it's arrows down. Some of you guys are like, I don't know. So I don't want to go too fast. So yeah, we'll come back to it, definitely. Okay, so plug in. So instead of x, I'm going to plug in 0. Everything else stays the same. I know that h is positive 2, but the original said negative 2. So I'm going to keep it the way it was originally. Okay. Mental math, calculator math, I'm going to show you. So the app that if you have that app, if you downloaded it, open it up. If you didn't, it's okay. I'm going to show you how to use it. It's the Desmos scientific app. So I'm going to put that guy in my calculator. I'll come back to it, but I just want to, not that calculator, this calculator here. So the first thing we had was negative 3, right? So I'm going to put negative 3. And then I'm putting parentheses, right? Parentheses. And then it was 0 minus or plus 2. Minus 2, right? Parentheses. It was squared, right? And then what was k? Positive. Squared's right here. Squared's the a squared. A to the second power. Yeah, you got it. Okay. Negative 4. So we put minus 4, right? There's our answer, negative 16. Okay? You guys are Math 3 students. So when did you guys do adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, exponents? You guys did it a long time ago, right? So I'm going to assume that you guys know how to do it. That's why I'm letting you guys use the calculator. Okay? It's not, if it was elementary school, if I was teaching elementary school, I wouldn't let you guys do this. But you guys did that a long time ago, so that's why we use calculators. We're past that. Okay, so negative 16. So 0, negative 16. Go make a dot. What happens when I try to make a dot? It's off the graph, right? It's the same thing that happened last week, right, on the practices. Some of you guys were like, Mr. Flores, this guy's not on my graph. Just guesstimate. Just try to use guesstimation, right? So if I did have a negative 16, it goes down to negative 10, right? So negative 10, negative 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like right around here somewhere. Right around here somewhere. Best estimate. It's the best I can do because my graph doesn't go there. What does the green line do? Starts with an R. Reflects. Mirror. So we're going to have another green dot at the same spot on the other side. Connect. Arrows down. So now that I know arrows down, I can do max and min now. So because it's arrows down, is it going to have a max or is it going to have a min? Max. And that's always going to be your k. So my k on here was negative 4. Done. Okay. Now that one's nice because everything they gave to you, right? We didn't have to do a lot of work to figure it out. Here's the thing though, and I see this every year. Every year, students are like, I really like Vertex form because it gives you everything, right? And then they try to use Vertex form for everything. So let's go back to, let me show you a problem. Let's say I have this problem on the test. Can I use these rules here? No, because it's not Vertex form, right? It's not Vertex form, right? It's like taking a round peg and trying to stick it in a square hole. It won't fit because they're not the same. This guy didn't have A, H, and K. It had A, B, and C, so you got to use that one. Okay? So be careful with that. Be careful with trying to fit things where they don't belong. Okay. Let's look at number 2. It's also vertex form. Yeah, 1 and 2 are both vertex form. Okay, so tell me what A, H, and K are. Write that down. Fourth, yeah? 1/4, yeah. It's a fraction. It's okay. You're going to have fractions today. You're going to have decimals today. It's okay. If you don't like fractions, change them to a decimal, 0.25. It's the same as a quarter. Or leave it 1/4. That's one of the reasons why I show you how to use the calculator, because calculators don't mind working with those types of numbers.
For H, would it be negative?
So it's going to be -5. Yeah, -5, and K is +2. Because H is a liar. Remember, H is a liar, so whatever it's showing, it's actually not. Yeah. Don't change anything up here. Don't go up here and change anything, right? Don't go up here and change anything. Leave it the way it was. We're just going to file it in the back of our head. Okay? All right. Do the rest. Figure out the rest. You guys see what you guys can do. I'll walk around. We'll go over it. I'm not turning you loose yet, but I think you guys are, but I'll get started here. All right, so I know A is 1/4 or 0.25, 0.25. H is -5 because it's a liar. K is +2 because it tells the truth. Okay. Axis of symmetry is going to be x equals -5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Vertex is -5, +2. Left 5, up 2. Make a red dot. Is that a maximum or minimum? If you know, you know. If you don't, you'll find out. Y-intercept. Plug in 0 for x. So I'm going to go back to the original. 1/4 parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite everything that was originally there except the x. Don't change it to -5. Oh, axis of symmetry was negative, or the h was -5. No, leave it the way it was. Leave it the way it was. Don't mess with those. Go to your calculator. 1/4 plus 5 plus 2. Okay. So we're going to go 1/4. 1/4, 1 divided by 4, parentheses. 0 plus 5, parentheses, squared, right? Squared is the, you can use either of the exponent buttons, will work, plus 2. I told you, getting your decimal. 8.25. 8.25 is a little more than 8, less than 9 though. Okay, let me go make a dot. So I'm going to go 8 and a little bit more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a little bit more. Okay. Reflect. Well, that blue dot is pretty far away from the line, so I got to figure out how far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, so I got to go another 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be like way over here. Connect. Arrows up. So now that it's arrows up, I know it's going to have a minimum. So not a max, it's going to have a min. Cross out max. Minimum at k, which was +2. Done. That's vertex form. Pretty cut and dry. So I have 2 questions. First question is differences. Look at the graph we made for 1 and look at the graph we made for 2. What are the 2 biggest differences in the way they look? The graphs, so not the numbers, the graphs. The minimum and maximum, right? One had a minimum, one had a maximum. One was arrows up, one was arrows down. That's one, right? What's the other? A is a fraction, so what is the one with a fraction? How does that one look different besides arrows up and arrows down?
Arrows up.
Besides that, what does it look like? Is what's wrong with what?
It's wider than
There you go. That was the word I was looking. Wide, right? Look at the parabola. Look at the U, whatever you want to call it, right? It's pretty wide compared to the guy over here, right? It's pretty wide. What's causing that? Kind of what Olivia just said. The fraction. The fraction. So how do we know when it's going to be wide or skinny? I have a little thing. This is in the front. This is the bottom of your notes. A's role, there's a reason why there's A in every form, because A has many important jobs. First of all, it's going to decide whether it's arrows up or arrows down. A decides that, right? If A is positive, it's going to be arrows up. If A is negative, it's going to be arrows down. Okay? That's the first job it does. The second is wide and skinny. Stretch, skinny, wide, whatever you want to call it. What was A on number 1? Example number 1, what was A? -3, right? -3. -3. What was A for the one we just did, number 2? 1/4. Which of those blue dots is closer to 0? 1/4. The closer it is to 0, the wider it's going to be. Okay? If it's further away from 0, it's going to be really skinny. So if my A on the next problem was -10, that's going to be even skinnier than what I saw on A, on the number 1. Okay? So it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It could still be skinny and wide. Right? So just, that's how to tell. That's how to tell. So if you're looking at a test and you got something that's really wide and arrows down, look for the A that's first of all negative, and look for the A that's closest to 0, usually a fraction. Boom, you're done. You got your answer. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go to the last one, last 2. Example number 3, example number 4. These are both factored form. It's got an A, P, and a Q. There's a lot of letters. In the last 2 lessons, we've done A's, B's, C's, H, Q, now P, or now H and K, now P and Q. That's one of the reasons I let you use your notes, so you don't have to memorize any of that stuff. You don't have to memorize anything in this class. You just have to know how to use it, okay? So these guys have P and Q and an A. So how do we get the axis of symmetry? It's halfway in between P and Q. Halfway in between. So if you want to know what halfway in between is, you add them up and divide by 2. Then how do I get the vertex? Well, whatever number you just got, plug it in for x, just like we did last week. Which leads you to your maximum minimum. Your y-intercept, how do you do that? Plug in 0 for x, just like we did on the last 2 problems. The difference between factored form is it gives you 2 extra pieces of information. It gives you x-intercept. Sometimes they want that, sometimes they don't. If they want it, we got it. Okay, yes?
Is it like the opposite? Like
Yeah, it's the opposite, right? Some people say opposite. That's a good word. I call them liars just because, I don't know, I like to use that word. P and Q, yeah, it's opposite, okay? Or liars, you can call them liars. P and Q are just like H. They lie. Why are all these letters lying? You'll find out next chapter. I don't want to tell you now because it'll confuse you more. Next chapter, I promise I'll answer that question. Why are they lying? There's a reason for it, okay? So yeah, P and Q are liars or opposites. Okay, that's a good word. Okay. So let's do A, P, and Q. What is A? -1, good, yeah. One of my students last period or the period before said 0. There's nothing there. There's always something in front of parentheses. It's either -1 or +1. Even if that negative wasn't there, it would still be 1. It's not 0. A is never 0. P. Well, it's showing -1, right? But it's the opposite. It's +1. And Q is -5 because it's the opposite. Don't change it. Leave it the way it was. We're leaving this guy the way it was. We're not changing it. We're just filing the back of our head. Okay, so let's go axis of symmetry. So because this is factor form, I'm going to say, take P, add it with Q, divide by 2. P was 1. Q is -5. Divide by 2. No, because Q's P's a liar. So it's the opposite. Yeah, opposite, yeah. P and Q, opposites. 1 plus a -5 is -4 divided by 2. -2. That's going to be my mirror line. Done. Vertex. So I know this guy is going to be here, so I know it's -2 something. So I'm going to do what I did last week. Plug the axis of symmetry in for x. There's 2 x's, here and here. Plug -2 in for both. -1 parentheses, parentheses. So I'm going to plug in -2 and -2. Don't change it, leave it the way it was at the beginning, so it's going to have a -1 and a +5. Calculator, mental math, whatever you want to do. So you get -2 minus 1, which is -3. You get -2 plus 5, which is +3. And then your -1, which you started with. Multiply. Negative times a negative makes a positive, times a positive makes a positive. -1 times -3 times 3 is +9. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Is this guy going to be arrows up or arrows down?
Down.
It's going to be arrows down. How do I know that without a blue dot? Because what is negative? You're right, Braden. What was A is negative. Good. We already know it's going to be arrows down. We already know it's going to be arrows down. We still have to do the y-intercept, but that'll prove it, right? So that means this one's going to have a max. Okay, so let's do the y-intercept now. Okay. 0 comma something. Plug in 0 just like I did last time. Everywhere there's an x, plug in a 0, use your calculator to do the rest. So -1, parentheses, parentheses, 0, 0, -1 plus 5. Zero minus 1 is -1. 0 plus 5 is +5, and then I move down the -1 at the beginning. I get +5. That confirms it has to go arrows down. Mirror. Connect. We said it was going to be arrows down, and it is arrows down. So that means it's going to have a maximum. Where's the maximum going to be? This guy right there. This one is 9. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I got you. Okay. So what I want you to do is do it says number 6, it's supposed to be number 4, it's a typo. Do the last problem. It's in factored form. Now these, you're gonna get, I think the y-intercept is gonna be a little crazy. It's gonna be like 100 and something. It's okay. Just kind of estimate. Kind of like on the practice last week, like some of your y-intercepts were like way down here or way up. It's okay. All right, so do the last problem. I'm going to walk around. If you need any help, let me know. Okay. We'll do it together. I'll do it with you guys afterwards, but I want to give you. So just help me out. What is A going to be for this guy? 3. Arrows up or arrows down? Arrows are going to be. If you don't know, it's okay. We'll come back to it. P, what is P going to be? -5, and Q is -9, right? Don't change them, leave them. But we know that they're really that. Okay. Axis of symmetry, x equals -5 plus -9 divided by 2. It's going to be -7, right? Yeah. This is the problem where I had a student last period use the Apple calculator, the regular Apple calculator, and they got 4.5 or something like that. It's not wrong. It's just the way they put it in, the calculator didn't know what to do. That's why I say either use your brain or use the Desmos calculator, because they're a little more aligned to what we're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Vertex, we know it's going to be -7 comma something. So we put in 3 plus 5 plus 9. We're going to put in -5, or sorry, -7. If you put it into your calculator, you're going to get -12. Because this is 3 times -2 times +2. Okay, that's a little bit off. It's not crazy off, but it's a little bit off of my, it's like down here. A little bit off is okay. The y-intercept is going to be crazy off. Not off meaning wrong, off meaning not on my graph. Okay, so max min, kind of not sure yet. Okay, so y-intercept. 3 parentheses, parentheses. We got +5 plus 9. We're going to put a 0 and a 0, because that's what we always do for the y-intercept. So I get 5 and 9, both positive. You multiply those, you're going to get 135. 0, 135. That's way off my graph. So what do I do? Guesstimate. Go as high as you can up. Right about there. That's about as high as I can go without going into the problem before. That's about as high as I can go without getting into the other problem. Mirror, right? Connect. Arrows up. Because A was positive. If A is positive, arrows up. A is negative, arrows down. This one's going to have a minimum at -12. kind of scrunched together. Okay. Okay. My question is, how do I know which form it is? Like, how do I know, what are the ways to tell it's in standard form? What is the differences between that one, and this one? What are the ways we can tell if it's in standard form? Or vertex form? Or factored form?
I would say for like vertex form, it would have one parentheses and then,
Keep going.
and for factory, it would have two parentheses and standard is no parentheses.
That's what I tell students, exactly what I tell students. The big thing is parentheses. How many parentheses does it have? If it has no parentheses, standard form. Use these rules that we did last week. If it has one set of parentheses, vertex form, use these rules. And if it has two parentheses, use these. You won't have any with 3 or 4. You won't have any with that. So it's just either going to be no parentheses, 1 parenthesis, 2 parentheses. Okay, yeah, that's what I tell students.
Can you go back down to the last
Sure.
question?
To the last question? Absolutely. There you go. Yep, no problem. Okay.